Hey, this is Michael J. with This Old Car. You know, it's no secret that the destinies of Porsche and Volkswagen were closely intertwined right from the very beginning. The two companies, though separated by market focus and reputation, were bound together by both family and history. Ferdinand Porsche had designed the Volkswagen Beetle, one of the most iconic cars of all time, and from that foundation grew both Volkswagen's global empire and Porsche's own sports car legacy. But today, the spotlight is on another joint project, one that was bold, innovative, and promising, yet ultimately misunderstood by its audience. Out of this collaboration came a car that deserved far more recognition than it received: the Porsche 914.
It's no fun owning a sports car if you can't get gas. And it's no fun owning an economy car when you don't want one. But a Porsche 914 2.0 gives you the fun of a sports car with unique Porsche handling.
By the mid-1960s, both Porsche and Volkswagen found themselves at a crossroads. Their success had been extraordinary, but both companies realized it couldn't last forever on the back of a single model. For Volkswagen, the Beetle was the golden goose. Millions of units rolled off the assembly lines, and here in the great US of A, well, they were selling like hotcakes at 500,000 cars per year. Alongside it, the Type 2 microbus had carved out a beloved niche of its own, becoming the ride of choice for campers, surfers, and counterculture adventurers. Yet from a financial perspective, the microbus was a sideshow. The Beetle was the main act, and everyone knew that no single model, no matter how beloved, could carry a company forever. Sooner or later, Volkswagen would need a successor. Porsche faced a remarkably similar situation. Their first volume sports car, the 356, had given them financial stability and built their reputation for engineering precision and motorsports success. But by 1964, the 356 was aging. Its successor, the new Porsche 911, was introduced with great fanfare. History would crown the 911 a legend, but at launch, it was a gamble. Priced at $6,500, which is 50% more than the outgoing 356, it risks alienating Porsche's customer base. Porsche, well, they desperately needed a cheaper entry-level sports car priced under $5,000 to slot beneath the 911. One that could appeal to younger buyers and stand toe-to-toe with competitors like the Chevrolet Corvette and the incoming wave of Japanese sports cars. This parallel need for new products, well, it set the stage for collaboration. In 1967, Ferry Porsche, son of Ferdinand and then head of Porsche, struck a deal with Volkswagen's managing director Heinz Nordhoff. The agreement was simple in principle. Porsche's engineers would design a new car while Volkswagen would supply its engines for a VW badged version. Porsche, meanwhile, would install its own 6-cylinder engines in a Porsche badged variant. The engineering was entrusted to Ferdinand Piëch, Ferry's ambitious nephew. Piëch would later become one of the most influential figures in the automotive world. For the new car, he borrowed from the 911's suspension, but innovated in bold ways. Most importantly, he gave the new model a mid-engine layout, a configuration tested successfully in Porsche's racing cars, such as the 550 Spider, but never before used in a production Porsche. Placing the engine just ahead of the rear axle transformed the car's weight distribution, promising sharper handling and a balance unlike anything in the showroom. The The resulting car was compact but distinctive. The 914's wheelbase was longer than that of the 911, yet the overall length was 18 centimeters shorter. The mid-engine layout made it strictly a two-seater, but it compensated with two luggage compartments, one in the front and one in the rear. For open-air driving, it featured a removable Targa-style roof panel, similar to the 911 Targa. The Volkswagen badged 914-4 used a 1.7-liter, 80-horsepower four-cylinder engine with Bosch electronic fuel injection, borrowed from the VW 411. The Porsche badged 914-6, well, it received a 2.0-liter flat six with Weber carburetors, producing 110 horsepower. Both variants sent power to the rear wheels through a 5-speed manual transmission. Statistically, the 914 was unlike anything on the road. Porsche's designers intentionally avoided making it look like an existing Porsche or Volkswagen. Its sharp lines, pop-up headlights, and slab-sided proportions gave it a modernist, almost futuristic look for the late 60s. Some found it striking. Others, they thought it was odd. In 1968, just as the project was nearing production, Heinz Nordhoff suddenly died. His successor was Kurt Lotz. He refused to build a new factory for it, insisted that Porsche shoulder more of the production cost, and scrapped the idea of selling it as a Volkswagen. Instead, the car was to be marketed under a joint Volkswagen-Porsche brand in Europe, while in America it would be sold simply as a Porsche through the newly created Porsche Audi dealer network. This compromise created identity problems that would haunt the 914 throughout its life. Was it a Porsche? Was it a Volkswagen? Enthusiasts really weren't sure. Sales began here in the U.S. in 1970. The 914-4 was priced at $3,495. Reasonable, even cheaper than the outgoing Porsche 912. But the 914-6 came in at nearly $6,000, which made it more expensive than a brand new Corvette C3, a car with considerably more power and prestige in the American market. Initial reviews, they were mixed. Motor Trend praised the car's innovation and balance, naming it the Import Car of the Year for 1970. But other American automotive journalists were far less kind. Many dismissed its design as awkward or un-Porsche-like. Performance, it added to the skepticism. The 80-horsepower 914-4, it took 14 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. Dog sled slow by American standards of the time. The 914-6, with its 110 horsepower, it was quicker at around 9 seconds. But for the same money, a buyer could purchase a Corvette LT1 with nearly triple the horsepower, or a brand new Datsun 240Z, which offered comparable performance for a lower price. Yet to dismiss the 914 purely on speed was to miss its greatest strength, and that was handling. Thanks to its mid-engine layout, lightweight, and precise steering, the 914 was among the best handling cars of its era. In fact, the 914 proved itself in competition almost immediately. In 1970, a 914-6 GT claimed a class victory at the 24-hour Le Mans. But racing success, it didn't translate to showroom sales. The old saying, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, applied unevenly here. Special editions such as the black and yellow 914 LE Bumblebee attempted to spark excitement, but sales really never took off. By 1976, the writing, it was on the wall. After producing about 118,000 units over 6 years, Porsche ended production of the 914. It was replaced briefly by a revival of the 912 and then more decisively by the water-cooled front engine, the 924, which would serve as the brand's new entry level. You know, today the Porsche 914 has a complicated legacy. For many enthusiasts, it's the cheapest way to enter the world of Porsche ownership. The 914 may not have been the commercial success Porsche and Volkswagen envisioned, but it remains a fascinating chapter in their shared story, if you will. It blended two worlds, introduced the mid-engine layout to Porsche's road cars, and left behind a cult following that continues to grow. For those who appreciate its quirks, its sharp handling, and its place in history, the Porsche 914 is not a failed experiment, but a misunderstood pioneer. A car ahead of its time. Hey, so what'd you think about the Porsche 914? I know you have had to see them around when you were growing up. We had a neighbor down the street who owned a green 914 piece of crap. But he loved that car. So what'd you think? Did you own one? Did you know of somebody who owned one? Leave your comments below. We want to know what you thought about the 914 Porsche. Hey, I'd like to thank all those subscribers who have stuck around with us. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers, and hey, we need your help. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button below. It's simple and really helps us out. Hey, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications. This is Michael J. We will catch you later. I don't know why I'm talking like this. It's like I'm on the USS Enterprise, where it's balance and agility. The 914-6, on the other hand, had 110 horsepower. Time for a damn beer.